Hey, how's it going, everybody? Hopefully you can hear me okay. I think that's working. Just double check here. Audio, test, test. Oh yeah, that's working. Okay. All right. How's it going? It's Comic Crack. Um, I'm back, and I missed you. So I thought I was organizing and kind of cataloging. I think I've talked about it before. I deleted all of my CLZ, everything in my CLZ app, and kind of started fresh. There was a lot of kind of mistakes in there, stuff that I had gotten rid of that I just didn't keep up with my catalog. So I thought, screw it. I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to fidget with this table because that's just the way I work. And I thought I'd kind of just start cataloging. So I continued with that process last night for a little bit. We got home uh, just before dinner, had some food, and then that night just kind of relaxed and looked through some comics and stumbled across this on the shelves, buried in the shelves. I've got some other catalogs somewhere else too. I think I might have another Fantagraphics catalog. Um, I've got some house industry ones as well too that are really, really nice. I think I have a Something Weird video catalog, a couple of them in the archives that maybe we'll look at again. But I've talked about this one before, the Fantagraphics one. So I thought we'd go through it and just have a look. Let's see, we got Zippy the Pinhead, Bill Griffith on the front there. What do we got here? Trying a different camera setup, so we'll see how well this works. So this looks like it's the cover is copyright 2000. So I imagine this is around the same time. I'm not seeing much. Let me just grab this so I can read it a little closer here. Yeah, no such luck. So let's go with 2000. Put that there. I don't know. I thought it would just be fun to flip through. I didn't look through this last night. I found it and kind of put it aside. So what do we got? So the cover artists, again, Bill Griffith. So we have a focus on some Bill Griffith stuff. Zippy Annual, the Griffith Observatory. Zippy was one of those characters I didn't get into as much. Are We Having Fun Yet? That's a classic cover there. I mean, I've always seen the character, and I know Bill Griffith, but I don't even know if I own a single Zippy the Pinhead magazine or comic. So it's not a character I dug into quite in any sort of way. So new comics that were coming out or being offered anyway. Jessica Abel, Mirror, Window, Radio, and Illustrated Guide. More Jessica Abel, Doug Allen, Stephen Out West. I've got that somewhere unless I traded it off. That record. It's a record/comic. Stephen was pretty fun. I had a little bit of that stuff. Rick Altergott's Doofus. That was pretty entertaining as well. Looks like some Ho Che Anderson with the King, the Martin Luther King graphic novel, and Young Hoods in Love and Pop Life. That's very interesting. I wouldn't mind reading that King. I have a Pop Life somewhere. I don't remember it standing out to me too much at the time, but now that I know a little more about him, I would love to kind of see what else he has. One of the things that I read, which I won't talk about too much, well, I won't talk about at all here, but I read while we were away. I brought a couple of things to read, and I happened to bring the I Want to Be Your Dog 5-issue miniseries, and holy shit, is that a grim read. That is not an uplifting read in any sort of way, shape, or form. Really, really great. But oh boy. And then I also brought Vic and Blood, the 2 issues there as well, and same thing. So it was kind of like a double whammy of holy shit. Pretty dark stuff. Really, really fantastic, both of them, but not uplifting in the slightest. There we go. Here's my man, Pete Bag. And I mean, seeing this kind of stuff, man, there was a time I had quite a lot of Pete Bag stuff, including some of his early newspaper kind of work as well. And I don't know what the hell happened to any of that stuff. It's long gone. Classics on this page. Hey Buddy. So the graphic novels, the collections, the Hate comic, Hate annual, the Hate Jamboree. Good old Bradleys, like forget the Simpsons. It was all about the Bradleys for me. Martini Baton. The Zippo. I believe I had the Zippo at one point too. Never did get myself a shirt. Studs Kirby, another fantastic. I've got a collection of studs somewhere around here too. That's a really, really entertaining read as well. And then down below, got some Linda Berry. Tim Barella, don't recognize that name. Alison Bechtel, don't recognize that. Mark Bayer, Dead Stories. What did I have? There was something else that Mark Bayer did. Maybe it was on the Drawn and Quarterly, Centrifugal, Bumble Puppy. Maybe that was a Fantagraphics. He might have done a cover and some stories in there. His style is very familiar to me. Brian Briggs, Enki Bilal. That's great. I didn't realize they were offering stuff like this at the time. Hunting Party, I've read. It was good. I think I spoke about it here before. It went a little bit over my head, kind of a lot of like Russian history and things in that book, and I'm just not familiar with that. So I think there was a lot in there that just completely passed me by. I didn't kind of get what it was going for. Oh, my man, Reed Fleming. He's come up recently in one of the Facebook groups I'm in. Somebody, I guess, discovered some Reed Fleming books and had mentioned it. It's a series. I'm still missing a couple of issues. I read one not too long ago, and it was still just as funny as it was when I first read it. Raymond Briggs, Chester Brown, The Little Man, The Playboy, and I Never Liked You. I mean, you can't go wrong with any one of those. Louis Riel, Underwater is the only one here that I haven't read. The rest of them I own and have read. But these three, kind of my first introductions to Chester. Beyond, I think I had a couple of Yummy Furs at that point even, but this was kind of like complete work that I first kind of dove into, and I love each of those. Charles Burns with Black Hole, El Borba, Big Baby. I still remember the Big Baby stuff from Comic Book Confidential when they do some of that in there. A Burns t-shirt, a Face Tasm. Oh yeah, Silkscreen. $150. Eddie Campbell, Graham Chaffee, David Collier, Surviving Saskatoon, Just the Facts, A Decade of Comic Strip Essays, Collier's, yeah. Al Columbia, oh, Howard Cruz, with Barefoots. Dame Darcy Meat Cake. I feel like I have a meat cake somewhere as well in the boxes. Beautiful page of Daniel Clowes stuff. I guess Zippos were a thing there for a little while because there's a Dan Clowes Zippo. Check out that silkscreen. That is badass. A mere $70. Clowes in Space. 3-color silkscreen print. Wow. That is fucking beautiful. I don't know how well you can see that there or not, but that's a beautiful thing. Velvet Glove Cast and Iron. Amazing. This Lloyd Llewellyn collection is really great. Yeah. What else we got? Mike Diana. I'm still waiting. I backed the Chaos and Comics. How you doing, man? I backed the Mike Diana documentary. It's easily years ago at this point. And normally with that kind of stuff, I haven't backed a lot of things. And I understand that when you back these things on Kickstarter or whatever platform, it takes a little bit of time. But this is the first one that's actually kind of pissing me off. because there's been premieres that have happened of the movie playing at festivals, and me and the rest of the backers who actually backed the making of the documentary still haven't received our copies. So I'm a little pissed off about that, to be honest. I don't know. I mean, it'll be interesting talking about censorship and things. His work doesn't appeal to me so much. Yeah, this is the Fantagraphics catalog from, I think, 2000. That's what the artwork on the front is credited for. I'm not seeing a year anywhere else. And I found it. I've talked about it before. I think when I was hanging out with Rasa and Adam, and I just found it yesterday as I was kind of cataloging some books, and I thought I'd just talk about it today. I put it aside and didn't look through it. Figured we'd have a quick flip through it together, if it's interesting to anybody, or maybe it's just interesting to me. So anyway, Mike Diana, I'm not a big fan of his art necessarily, but I think it's an interesting story there. Yeah, Kickstarters are iffy for sure. And that's the thing. Mostly, I'm totally fine with that. I'm fine with if I'm going to back something and it's going to take a year and a half, 2 years. I'm fine with the length of time. I think the thing that pisses me off about this is that it has screened, it has had screenings, it has had showings, and I still haven't received, my copy in the mail, basically. So I think that's the biggest thing for me. A Steve Ditko package, and then Strange Avenging Tales. Oh, wow. 160-page collection of Ditko's recent mystery, crime, and horror stories. Volume 2 goes superheroic with the Missing Man series, and Volume 3 collects 20 classic Charlton horror stories written by Joe Gill and others, and Volume 5 features Tisk Tisk, Ditko's amazing series of commentary strips on the comics field. Oh, wow. I didn't know that existed, actually. Damien, if you watch this in the future, maybe you've heard of it or you have it. Evan Dorkin, Julie Doucette, or Doucet. Dirty Plot is the classic from her that I know. Real Stuff I used to see around. I never really got into it. Dennis Eichhorn. Jeremy Eaton, some Will Eisner, Family Matter, Mary Fleener, Bob Fingerman, Rick Geary. Man, the Drew and Josh Allen Friedman. The Friedmans were all over the place at this time with their kind of hyper realistic pointillism kind of art. Unbelievable stuff. They were everywhere at this time. It seemed like they popped up in everything from like the Blab anthologies to just, even if it was just a one-page kind of caricature or an ad or something. Some Neil Gaiman stuff. Roberta Gregory with Bitchy Bitch. I've got a couple of those. They were really fun. It's not a comic I see around that often though, so Duplex Planet, same thing. Don't see that too much. Oh, a bunch of Tintin. A mere $22.95 for 120-page hardcover in 2000 money. Sam Henderson, Magic Whistleblower. Yeah, I think he was big in mini comics, if I'm not mistaken. Matt Groening, Larry Gonick. Oh yes, the Cartoon History of the Universe. The one comic that my grandparents would gladly buy for me on my birthdays when I went to. There was a couple of birthdays where I went to Comic World with my kind of step grandma, I guess. And looking through the bins, and she found those. I think she spoke to someone behind the counter, and they pointed her in those directions, and that's all I was able to walk out of there with at that point. A couple of Love and Rockets pages, amazing. That was the other thing I read while I was away. Read the second volume of Love and Rockets and absolutely loved it. I'm fully in now. I'm signed up. I'm going to be hunting for the rest of it. I'm there. I definitely see the appeal, like I've talked about in a video before. Not something I would have seen necessarily the appeal in at the time, but these days I was completely absorbed. More goodies from there. Hey, Zippo lighters. Fucking hell, man. I don't remember. I guess I do remember Zippo lighters being a thing. Just didn't realize it infiltrated all the way down to alternative comics. Peter Cooper at the bottom. Looks familiar. Can't say I know too much about him, though. Joe Kubert. Oh, Kachalka. Still around then, hey? Yeah. Carol Lay. Not a lot of names on this one. Oh, Ran Xerox. Oh, Jack's Luck. That Jason Little. That Jack's Luck Runs Out is a really, really fun book. Was that the 3D one? I don't remember. It's really great. I found it in a cheapo bin years ago. I think 2 copies. I think I ended up getting 2 copies and giving one away. Really, really good. Try to find that again and pull that out. Joe Matt, Peep Show and the Poor Bastard. Another absolute classic. Love Joe Matt. It's too bad he's not really around doing stuff anymore. Mazzucchelli and Paul Karasik. Paul Auster's City of Glass. Mignola with some Hellboy. Jason Lutz. Oh, sorry, I'm not watching the chat. I have a different setup here. Just back up in the chat here. Do you still have your, oops, sorry. Do you still have your collection of 8-ball Dan Clouds? Oh, absolutely, I do. I don't have, unfortunately, I don't have the entire run of 8-ball, but I've got a good chunk of it, including like the first issue. No, I'm reading the big volumes. These suckers here, Chris. So I guess the first edition volumes. So I have book 2, 3, and 4. Book 2 is what I just took on our trip there, and I'll talk about it probably on the next hangout with Rasa and Adam. Loved it. What else did I miss? Yeah, I've Love and Rockets. Okay. Some Alan Moore. V for Vendetta. Not much point in talking about Alan Moore. He's all right, I guess. Big Mouth, Pat Moriarty. Yeah, there was a series of these. I think, yeah, that's right. There's Bukowski did some writing. Henry Rollins did writing in it. And then they matched them up with some different artists throughout. Those were pretty fun. Should pull those out again, too. Mobius. Few Mobius. Gary Panter, another guy I feel like I really missed the boat on. Saw bits and pieces of his stuff here and there, but never really dove in, unless you count Pee-wee's Playhouse being an absolute rabid fan of Pee-wee's Playhouse. That's the most I got into Panter there. Picard. Yeah, that American Splendor anthology would be a good one to find in a cheap bin. Some Plimp Tunes. You've heard of Alan Moore, yeah. I think he's going to go places. What do we got here? P. Craig Russell. Fairy Tales of Oscar Wilde. Oh, Sagi Yojimbo. There you go. Hey, a role-playing game of Usagi. That's cool. Oh, Johnny Ryan. I still follow him on social media. And he just really goes to town with his stuff. Angry Youth Comics. Joe Sacco. Seth. There's the trifecta right there. Completing the trifecta. Seth. Palookaville. Clyde Fans. It's a Good Life If You Don't Weaken. All great stuff. Richard Sala. Maybe not my favorite of the 3, but I do love his art style. And he was an incredibly nice dude to sit and chat with for a little bit when we saw him. His table is really rocky. Some Bone. Still haven't got we read the first volume with my daughter, and she loved it, and I loved it, and my wife loved it, and I just haven't gone and picked up another volume. I really should correct that. Hell of a lot of fun. Sienkiewicz and Martin Green, Voodoo Child. I did find locally the Daredevil graphic novel. Hoping to pick it up. I'm hoping this weekend, the Sienkiewicz Daredevil. Sienkiewicz and Miller, sorry. Hoping to pick that up this weekend so I can dig into that. The Acme Novel Library. Another one, I had a couple of the books. Appreciated it, never got into it deeply. My favorite, talked about it many times, Roy Tompkins' Trailer Trash. That's a fucking hilarious, ridiculous, just filthy comic, that one. It's so much fun, really. If you see a Trailer Trash, it was put out by a couple of companies. I think Tundra might have been one of them. Pick any of them up. It doesn't matter. Just pick one up and give it a read. Tompkins' art is just fantastic. Some Tommaso. In here, we'll see if there's any Spain Rodriguez in here. We'll see as we go through. We're reaching the halfway mark. I think in these there was an underground comics section. So we get some anthologies. If I remember it correctly, it was broken up into kind of sections, and I'm pretty sure there was one specific to underground comics. My man Jim Woodring, Frank by the River silkscreen. So at the time, $125. Oh shit, hey. A Frank trading card set. Jim Woodring t-shirts. Trading card set, hey. I'll have to do a little bit of searching for that one. Arcade Blab. This was such a fun anthology, Blab. John Quarterly, Girl Talk, Gay Comics, It's Dark in London, Weirdo, oh, The Narrative Corpse, The Infamous. Raw has produced the Comics Jam to end all jams. 69 artists tell a surrealist style story using the exquisite corpse technique where each cartoonist reads only the previous 3 panels. Pete Bagg, Linda Berry, Chester Brown, Charles Burns, Daniel Clowes, Robert Crumb, Kim Deitch, Julie Doucette, Will Eisner, Mary Fleener, Drew Friedman, Justin Green, hey, Bill Griffith, Matt Groening, the Hernandez brothers, Kaz. Oh, Kaz. Wow, and that's just the first half. Amazing. That was always one that I would hear about a lot. And for some reason, in experimental music, I don't know if it was around the same time too, but when I was kind of in those, especially once SoulSeek, when the P2P, the sharing platform came up, there was a lot of kind of experimental and noise musicians that I was talking to. And it was something that even filtered there, like the idea of doing kind of an exquisite corpse style album or piece together where you only heard the last couple of seconds of a track and you built off of that. It just seemed to be something that was floating around all over the place at that specific time. There you go. Yeah, Sakijock I've got, but this Comics Underground Japan is always one I wanted to get my hands on, and I just never did. I think the Kayfabe guys have talked about that briefly on their channel. I don't remember. Hey, look, let's place an order and send it off and see where it goes. Inside Comics, History of Underground Comics, that's a great one. Tales of Terror, the EC Companion, Dangerous Drawings, interviews with comics and graphics artists. These Will Eisner books have popped up every once in a while in my outings as well too. Never flipped through one yet though. Oh no, I'm wrong. This is the one. Yeah, the Frederick L. Schott. That's the one that they've spoken about here. This manga. I thought they'd talked about that Underground Japan as well too, but that's the one. Because then they spoke to him, right? They spoke to Schott, is that right? Or they were going to? Tijuana Bibles. Of course, the Comics Journal. Here we go, Underground. Here's where we'll get into some Spain, probably. Eyes Wide Shut. Yeah, here we go. Spain, My True Story, and Trash Man. I'd love to get that Trash Man anthology. She Comics, an anthology of Big Bitch. Awesome. Of course, everybody's favorite S-Clay. I've got that collection. It's really fun. Got some Checkered Demon as well, too. Both of those guys are top notch. The Bodays, Justin Green, Oh Jackson, God's Bosom. I don't have that one. And Optimism of Youth. Don't think I have either of those. How is that possible? Some more Deitch. The Complete Crumb. I remember when these were coming out. I've got a couple of volumes of this. This was at a time, especially when this was coming out, I was all about, I mean, as I still am, but that was kind of early on in my, well, maybe not early on, but I just remember this collection being really important to me, seeing them and wanting to pick them all up. I loved the idea. I think it was the first time I had found out in so much detail more about Crumb, the fact that he started at like a greeting card company and things. And I loved that idea that that's kind of where he cut his teeth and then went on to be who he was, right? So the sketchbooks, R. Crumb collector boxes. Where's the R. Crumb Zippo lighter? Collaborations, Gilbert Shelton. Really looking forward to this Freak Brothers cartoon that's coming out. I follow them on social media as well, and I've seen a couple of clips. It looks entertaining enough. I'm under no, I think so, Eyes Wide Shut. I believe he's long gone from the States and has lived in France for a long time. The clips I've seen of Freak Brothers look pretty fun. I'm under no illusion that it's going to be anything like the comics, but I'm hoping it'll still be fun nonetheless. Classic Comics, Plastic Man Archives, Shazam, Little Abner, The Spirit. Yeah, I like the way this is broken up. Crazy Enignats. Yeah, all of this stuff, like the Prince Valiant. I never got into any of this stuff. The Nemo magazine is pretty fun. The Little Nemo stuff is probably the stuff that I saw that made me the most excited about kind of the history, this particular kind of grouping of artists. The Little Nemo pages are fucking phenomenal. There was a comic shop in town that had kind of that gigantic, oversized, so goddamn big, where the hell are you possibly going to put it book. And I remember they had it unwrapped, so I sat there one day and just kind of flipped through it, and seeing the Nemo strips that size, amazing. Hang out with a wife, that's great. I like this idea of flip through old catalogs, though. Good night, Eyes Wide Shut. Yeah, thanks for hanging out there, Chaos. Overtoons, I got that book there. That's a great one. A Toth. It's another guy that I don't know enough about, and I feel like I really should just dive in and explore. I know some of his stuff, and especially again through the likes of Kayfabe, introduced us to even more. And here we go. Here's the Eros comics section, which again is something I do not see. So either the people who were buying Eros comics, when it came time to get rid of their collection, they were too embarrassed and threw it out, or burned it so their wife wouldn't find their dirty comic collection, or they're holding on to them to the day they die in some box that's buried, because I just don't see Eros Comics titles around. Omaha is a great series, really, really fun. I'm dying to get book 2 of Big Black Kiss, because I've got book 1 and book 3. I really need to get book 2 because the first one was fantastic, and I'm curious to see where it goes. Young Witches. Yeah, a lot of these titles you always see. Wendy Whitebread, Undercover Slut. I've got some of those. And they're, I mean, you know, It's not going to be anything but what they promise. Mara of the Celts. Don't know that title. Dennis Kramer. Huh. Domino Lady. There we go. I Want to Be Your Dog. Tart. Pleasure Bound. Harem Nights. Naughty, Naughty Woody. Yuppies, Rednecks, and Lesbian Bitches from Mars. Diary of Dominatrix. Buffy. Finger Filth. A lot of titles I have no idea about. Of course, Click, Click 2, Click 3. Hugo Pratt, Indian Summer, yeah. Manara stuff. Oh, Matt Howarth even gets in the action. Tricks, Sluts in Space. I had no idea that Howarth dipped his toes in this world. Mangarotica. More Tijuana Bibles. Frank Thorne. Frank Thorne is a hell of an artist. Prose and Pictures. Victor Santoro, Gaslighting, How to Drive Your Enemies Crazy. That's where everybody's learning about it. Yeah, this is kind of like, what the hell was that? Man, there was a book distributor, you know, fucking anarchist books and things, and they always had kind of a lot of out there books. What the hell was that? What the name was? Yeah, I'm totally blanking about it. I'm sure if Chaos and Comics were still here, I have a feeling he might know. But they focused on a lot of kind of political stuff. But then, of course, there was these books on murders. There was about drugs. There was all sorts of kind of pushing the edge of kind of good taste and really appealing to the underground. Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. Don't remember. Anyway, this is what this reminds me of here. AK Press, is that what it was? AK Press, possibly? Naughty Thoughts and Naughty Pictures. Are we going to see? Oh, of course you are. There you go. If you're ever going to see stuff like this, you got to get the Richard Kern. He's the go-to, isn't he? Worked with what? Lydia Lunch, right? Yeah, introduction by Lydia Lunch. I think he did some stuff with her. Annie Sprinkle. And then some music. Punk rock and blues. Oh, Immoral Tales. That's a good one. Psychotronic. Oh, there it is. Incredibly Strange Films. That is a classic book right there. That Incredibly Strange series. I don't know how well you're seeing this. I'm just realizing now, but that Incredibly Strange book series is pretty fun. But that Incredibly Strange Films is such a fucking resource with the classic Canadian, the mask on the front. This one is great too. This Grindhouse, the Forbidden World of Adults Only Cinema. Some good stuff in there as well too. Oh yeah, Killing for Culture. That's a grisly book as well. Oh, look at this. Kenneth Smith, Phantasmagoria. For anyone who thinks that fantasy art and the intellect are mutually exclusive, Phantasmagoria should be a revelation. This handsomely produced paperback features illustrations, comics, stories, short stories, fables, and paintings. Oh, okay. So a collection, yeah, 72 pages of that zine, I guess, for lack of a better word. Frank Kozik, another guy that was everywhere. His Man's Ruin label that lasted for a little while was fucking incredible as well too. Did really well for putting out some really great music. Juxtapose. I've still got all my issues of Juxtapose as well. I was picking that up as soon as I saw it. So from issue number 1 for a good chunk of it anyway. I haven't bought it in many years, but that was great. for a while there. Oh, Crispin Hellion Glover, What It Is and How It's Done. And then Oakmont. I've seen him. He came to town a lifetime ago and went to see him speak, and it was just as bizarre and entertaining as you would think. The Action Suits. So Peter Bagg played in a band. The Action Suits. I've got this Cancer Father 7-inch, and it's not bad actually. I guess I didn't realize they had so much that they put out. Raymond Scott. That's a great CD. There we go. There's the Plimptunes, the videos. Mondo Plimpton. And then looks like the cheap seats. So some Blowout and discounted books. Some Concrete, some Bad Boys, Tantalizing Stories. This could be your last chance to enjoy the glory that is the Ultimate Comics catalog. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think with all of this kind of stuff, you could just contact the companies and they would send you, most of the time for free, their catalog. I guess that's not how I got this one because it would have had my address here. That's unfortunate. Don't know how this would have come. Maybe I did an order and they threw it in. I don't remember because I did order from Fantagraphics a couple of times. So that's it. There we go. I don't know, man. That was kind of fun. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for hanging out. Eyes Wide Shut, Chaos and Comics. Anybody who's watching in the future, maybe I'll dig around and see if I can find the other catalogs that I have. Like I said, I think I have another Fantagraphics one. But as far as comic catalogs, I don't think I have too many. But I think some of the other ones might be interesting to look through anyway, depending on what I find. There you go. Thanks a lot. Take it easy.